Oh, well, hey, that's amazing you're here. Fancy seeing you here. Today we're going to talk about the estimation of quotients. So again, we're kind of moving along in these different skills that we can use in division. This is something we've done in the past, right? We've done this idea of estimation with all of our other operations. And so today we are just going to think about like, how do we estimate in division? And this is very handy, of course, because we know that estimation gives us that idea of about how much something is worth. And it's a good way to check our work, because if we are able to get an estimation, then we go do the work itself and we see that our estimation and our real answer are nowhere near each other, then we definitely made a mistake somewhere. If they're near each other, then it's reasonable and we're good. We're like, all right, checks out. Okay. So remember, there's a couple things in there. In the past, we've talked about with estimation that it's about, and it's the idea of rounding, right? We just kind of round numbers and work with them. Again, being compatible numbers we can do quickly in our heads. And so today we're going to be thinking about the estimation of quotients. So what do we do to estimate a division problem when we start to get these larger multi-digit division problems? And then how can we get an idea? So today we're only going to look at the estimation, and we're going to do so. And this one is a little different than what we've done in the past with estimation. We're going to do so in the idea of compatible numbers. And compatible numbers are numbers that work together, like they make sense together. And you'll see what this means, because if we focus around the idea of multiples or the idea of what we know about multiplication, that's going to help us find these compatible numbers to round. Okay, so blah, 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 right? Let's just get to it. You're right. Sorry, my fault. So let's dive in and kind of do some examples of this. So again, this is for larger multi-digit division problems. So let's say maybe I have like 30 to 320. Sorry. Let's say I have 329. And I am going to divide that by 5. Okay. So again, we're estimating. Now, where it's a little different in division is you really want to start with the digit that you're dividing by to help you find what you're going to round to. There's almost like this rule of what's compatible with division, whereas before we normally just kind of do a front end estimation, or we might round to a certain place value. But in this, we're actually just rounding to something that's compatible with our fives. And what I mean by that, so watch this, right? This is going to definitely take some practice, but don't worry, you're going to pick it up. What I mean by that is if I think about fives, I think about this idea of knowing my fives. So like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, right? I'll just kind of stop there. If I think about those multiples of 10, one of the things I can start to look at is, well, which one of these answers is getting me close to maybe the first couple digits in my number? Because again, I can always think about base 10. And so what I mean by that is like, look at here, 30, right, is really close to the 32 I see here. And I know it's not 32, but I'm just using that as reference. So I could round this to 30, right? So these numbers round to 30, but of course 329 wouldn't round to 30. That wouldn't make any sense. So I'm actually just going to round this 9 to a 0, and I'm going to round this whole thing to 300. Now the reason why I did that is because, again, watch this. Here's compatible numbers, something we already know. If I'm going to divide by 5, oh, well, 30 divided by 5 is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this 0 right here needs its partner right there. So there's my answer. It's 60. And I, again, remember the inverse operation, I can double check that. So I could say, okay, well, 60 times 5, that's supposed to equal 300 if I did my math right. 6 times 5 is 30, and then a 0. So 300, it checks out. So that works, right? That's how this process works. So of course we're going to practice more. Like, don't sweat it. Don't like freak out like this doesn't make sense after one example. So let's look at another one here. How about 487, and let's divide that by 6. Okay, so again, remember this is an estimation. So the first step is I'm going to use the 6 to kind of help me think about how to round. And I'm going to use the first two numbers of my hundreds to guide me. So let's see, 6s would be 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54. Oh, wait, I'm going to stop there because actually I see it. Look at here. So I'm actually going to keep this as a 48, but of course, I'm going to change this to a 0, so I get 480. And then the reason why I picked that is because I know through these 6s that 48 and 6 are compatible. 48 divided by 6 gets me 8, right? Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then again, there's a 0 here, right? There's a 0 right there, so I need a 0 here to make sure that I have the right answer. So estimation-wise, 487 divided by 6 is about 80. It's about 80. And again, you see how I did that. I used my multiples of 6 to help me round 487 to a compatible number. And then I divided it by the 6 to get 80 and there, so forth. So of course, 2 examples still isn't going to do it. So let's do another one. So let's take into account, let's see, let's clear our screen a little bit. How about 541? I don't know, I'm just kind of making this up. And we're going to divide that by, what, 8? Sure, 8. Okay, so step 1, I'm going to use this 8 to guide me, right? Again, these are estimations. So I'm going to do my multiples of 8. And again, I'm doing that so I can see something that might be close to 54. So 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64. I'm gonna stop there. And if again I look at here, look at here. 56 is compatible because it's helps me out as this multiple of 8. So I'm going to change the first 2 digits to 56. This I'm going to make into a 0, so it's 560. And then I'm going to divide it by 8. And again, we have compatible numbers. 56 divided by 8 is, well, I don't know how it works down here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then this 0 doesn't have a partner anywhere, so I'm going to need it in my answer, my quotient. So my answer is 70. So again, 541 divided by 8 is about 70, right? Again, that's the idea of an estimation. Okay, so keep this in mind as we do this work. I'm going to put up another problem. As you know, I like these moments where you can definitely pause, solve the video yourself, or solve the problem yourself, and then come back and kind of check to see what we're doing, see if this makes sense. So how about if we take 673, and we're going to divide that by 9? Sure. Okay, so if you paused me and did the work, great. Now let's see how we do this. We're going to start by listing our multiples of 9 to help us find a compatible number that is close to the 67 about, right? I know it's not really 600 or 67. I know it's 600 and I know it's 70, but I'm just kind of thinking base 10. So we're going to go 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63. Remember that cool trick with 9s, right? Where you notice I'm going up 1 in the 10s place. And then I go down 1 in the 1s place. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2. Right, and then let's see, 81. Anyway, it's a fun trick. Okay, so let's look for the one that's close to 67, which I guess would be 63. That seems to be the closest one there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to round this to 630 because I'm using the 60 and the 3 because it's a compatible multiple of 9. and I'm going to divide it by 9. So let's see. 63 divided by 9 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, this is the cool thing about listing your multiples too, because look, it's already helping me find the answer, right? And then here's the 0. Oh, this one was also 70, about 70. Wasn't that the answer to the last one? Anyway, so this is really helpful in the idea of what happens when we think about how we can estimate quotients. Notice now we're still not solving 673 divided by 9. We're not going to find the real answer yet. We're going to start by practicing just how to estimate with that idea of using compatible numbers, right? Those are numbers that work well together, compatible numbers. And really the best way to look at that is through multiples. If I list the multiples of the number I'm dividing by, I can use those to find my compatible numbers. So as always, we appreciate your hard work and keep it up. And again, you just keep practicing and trust me, it's all going to click. We will see you next time.